Good evening, ladies. Look, you can see my Christmas lights. I have an intention to keep them on through the entire year because I really like them. And I have my little corner lit up with the stars. So, it's 9:15 or even 20 probably. I'm still wearing my yoga clothes because I just got back from my yoga. But I decided that if I don't do the live stream today, or tonight actually, it's not gonna happen until next week. And as I promised, and I usually do them on Wednesdays, I then wanted to do it today. Okay, I think you should see me well. I never see comments, so whoever has just joined in, hello. And tonight I'm gonna be talking about loneliness, and I'm going to give you a few strategies how to deal with it and how to become friends with loneliness rather than run away from it. So it's a big topic, and loneliness can be real and raw, and I know many people suffer from it. And from time to time, I think everyone experiences that on a kind of deeper level. And many things can trigger loneliness, and I'm going to be talking about loneliness in the context of our love lives. And I remember vividly, long time ago, I used to struggle with it. I used to run away from feeling lonely. I used to feel very uncomfortable when loneliness hit me. So I would do everything not to experiencing it. So that's why partly I so disliked being single. And I made sure that one relationship ended, and then in a few weeks' time I was already on the lookout to find another one, because I believed the relationship was the solution for my loneliness. Where in fact very often I felt even lonelier in the relationships with the wrong man than I felt when I was on my own. So, hello Sandy. So I don't believe another person is a solution to our loneliness, and let me tell you how I perceive loneliness and what were the strategies I used to help myself feel better. So for me personally, loneliness is just a sign of disconnection. It's mainly a sign that you are disconnected from yourself, firstly, and then disconnected from other people. So the solution to loneliness is more connection. But then there are two questions to ask yourself. How do I connect? How do I create connection with myself? And what do I do to create connection with other people? And what people? So how do you create more connection with yourself? Obviously, all the things I always talk about: meditation, journaling, contemplation, doing yoga, doing swimming, things you really like. And this is my personal list, but you can create your own list. Going for a walk with your dog, or spending some time, I wanted to say with your kids, but that would be the way to create connection with other people. But the first step is to first reconnect with yourself and find ways which bring you back to yourself, because only then you can truly authentically connect with other people. And then how to connect with other people: do stuff with other people. And if you don't have a partner in your life, and I'm mostly speaking to single ladies, so you don't, find people you can reconnect with in your life. There are friends you haven't seen for many years. There are kids who have been sometimes abandoned it's too much of a word, but ignored because you are busy with life. And there are family members, so there are plenty of other people you can connect with. Even your neighbor, go and have a chat. That will be something interesting. Today at my yoga, Every Thursday I do integral yoga, which I adore and I love. It's my weekly fix. But we just come there and we don't talk much. We do our physical routine, then we do breathing, we do meditation, and then we swap a few sentences at the end and we go. So I basically don't know the people. And today there were only a few ladies because it's quite cold, so I think many people stopped, got scared and didn't come out and didn't come to yoga. And we had a beautiful moment of truly connecting and asking questions and kind of, what are you all about? How long have you been in this country? And it felt really, and the chat was so pleasant and so light and so kind of real and authentic that I left and I thought, that was an example of a true connection. And it was spontaneous, it wasn't planned, there was space and the right moment for us to connect. And normally it doesn't happen, so that's why it was a little bit magical. So, loneliness, I know I had plenty of notes and I'm trying to follow what I wrote, but I didn't have time to properly read it and prepare myself. So loneliness can happen even if you are with millions of people around, and it can happen in relationships. It can happen when you have a partner and you sit with him on the sofa because he's not the right guy and you are not as connected. So this tells me that the loneliness is not so much, it doesn't have so much to do with the absence of other people in our lives, because it can happen even if you are with people. I believe it's an emotional state which gets mostly triggered in us by our thoughts. So when you feel lonely, my first advice would be go connect with your mind and see what you are thinking and what your thoughts are. And if you are single, they will be all like, oh, I'm single, there must be something wrong with me, or I don't have a partner, I feel like a loser, all of my friends are getting married, or I'm in happy relationships. And this will go on and on and on, and this will create an emotional response, which will be a natural reaction, feeling lonely. So very often it's very good to sit down and go into meditation and contemplate a little bit on what you are thinking and what thoughts you are thinking which create loneliness in you. So that would be my first bit. And when you feel lonely, I would very much encourage you to go deeper into that state. Don't run away from it, don't escape it, because it's one of the things which is guaranteed in your life. Like the relationship with yourself and the loneliness, you will experience them for sure. These are the guaranteed things in your life. The relationship with other people, the relationships with other people, they come and go, they are not that permanent. But the relationship with yourself and experience and being with yourself, which can also be a trigger for loneliness, is something which will be always part of your life. So my approach to loneliness is face it, be with it, sit with it and feel it. And connect with it on a deeper level. And sit down, and I know it will, if you do it for the first time, it will feel uncomfortable. It will feel uncomfortable because you've never done it before. Sorry, I need to look at my notes here. Because it will be uncomfortable because you've never done it before. And it feels weird because nobody teaches us how to be with ourselves. Everywhere you go, everything you read is always about other relationships with other people. How to be in a good relationship with your parents, how to create an amazing relationship with your partner, how to create more connection with your kids. But hardly ever we are being taught how to create more connection with ourselves and how to create an amazing relationship with ourselves. Because if we knew that from a very young age, we wouldn't suffer from loneliness. Because we would be comfortable with being with ourselves, and we would be happy to be with ourselves, because it's the most natural thing. I find being with myself more natural than being with other people. I have no problem connecting with other people, and I had a problem to connect with myself for many, many years. I used to run away from being with myself. But once I have done all my work around loneliness and becoming my best friend, I don't know what loneliness is anymore. I mean, I'm aware of it, and there are certain things which would trigger me, but I observe it. I don't go into it. I don't follow it like I used to. Loneliness used to kill me. I used to wake up in the morning and I was always, oh, if I only had a man next to me. In the evening, the last thought was always like, oh, if I only had a man next to me. I always believed that a man was a solution. And it doesn't work like that. Even in my current relationship with my dream man, from time to time I feel like we don't understand each other. Especially after an argument, there is an energy of loneliness in our relationship, but I don't feel a victim of it anymore. I just observe it. It is, part of my relationship. I experience it from time to time, but it doesn't hurt me like it used to. And I believe it doesn't, because I did my work before I entered this relationship, and it has nothing to do with my man and nothing to do with who he is and what he does to me. It's something I'm taking responsibility for, because I learned before this relationship how to deal with my loneliness. So when you feel lonely, don't resist it. Don't resist it, embrace it, be with it, experience it. Because running away from loneliness doesn't work, but embracing it and experiencing it, it works. When you catch yourself feeling lonely and you go into your mind and you start producing all these thoughts, consciously bring yourself down to your heart space, because this is where you'll find comfort. Our thoughts only make us feel more lonely if we believe them, and we usually do. But when you go to your heart and take a few deep breaths and reconnect with your heart and imagine like it is expanding with your breathing, you are taking yourself away from your head, and you're also automatically disconnecting from your thoughts, even momentarily, and then your thoughts won't have such a big impact on the way you are feeling. So every time you feel lonely, you can do that. You can make it a regular practice. Reconnect with your heart. Then also inquire. Ask yourself questions. What does it mean to feel lonely to you? Where do you feel it in your body? What color does your loneliness have? What are you running away from? What are you afraid of? There are many questions you can play with, and then the more and deeper you go into the questioning, the lesser effect the loneliness will have on you. You can also journal. I would start from a contemplation. I would just close my eyes and I would just ask myself the questions, and I would observe how my body feels. But then you can take a piece of paper and you can take a pen and you can do writing and answer the same questions on paper. Then another approach to loneliness is, can you reframe it? Because loneliness has got such a negative meaning, but loneliness can be a very pleasant experience. Being without people, being without distractions. I would call it being alone, being in solitude. And in solitude, we find balance, we find inner peace. Solitude is expansive. Solitude gives us comfort, grounds us. And in solitude, you can find so many answers to so many questions. And I would also encourage you to practice silence and solitude. That was one of the most favorite practices I was doing when I was on my dating detox. And I know it can sound scary if you haven't done it, but try to start doing it from 15 minutes per day. No distractions. You switch off your phone, you don't turn your TV on, you don't turn the radio, you make sure there are no other people. If you have kids, maybe do it when they sleep. And just sit with yourself for 15 minutes. No talking, just being, sitting and being present with yourself. And I started from a few minutes, but then I really started to see the effects and the positive benefits in my life. And almost every Saturday, my whole day was like solitude and silence. And there was also a period of my life when I naturally felt like withdrawing from people, withdrawing from life and busyness and all these distractions which we are exposed to every day. So I would just go to work, interact with people when I had to, and come back home around 5, 6 o'clock. And from then until I went to bed, I was on my own. Sometimes not doing really much, just being, meditating, experiencing being with myself. Because when you start connecting with yourself on such a deep and intimate level, you realize you are much bigger than your body, your mind, your thoughts, your presence. Your presence is so vast, and you can find, they say you can find the whole universe within yourself. So I had those experiences when I started to practice solitude and silence. So start from 15 minutes per day. Even just, sitting down and sitting on your own and observing what's happening to your mind, what's happening to your body, what kind of feelings and sensations you feel. And let me know how you're doing, because I know it can be quite an interesting experience when you do it for the first time. And I'm really sorry, but my boy has woken up. So I hope my man is going to come and comfort him. Then, other tactics to deal with loneliness are get active. And I don't mean get busy, get active. Because business and creating more commitments and obligations and duties and meeting more people is an escape from feeling lonely. It's running away from experiencing being with yourself. But get active, I mean, move your body, dance, go for a walk, do some cleaning. I love cleaning because it's very therapeutic for me. It takes me away from my mind and I reconnect with myself. By focusing on doing all the little tasks I have to do. I'm really sorry. Probably it will be very noisy because he's not a happy chappy. Go for a run, go for a walk with your dog. Just do something active, move your body. Then, one of the very nice strategies is service. Serve other people, because this also takes you away from yourself and you put the focus on other people. It makes you feel like you belong. It makes you feel like you're doing something good for others. So explore some charities. You can do volunteering. You can help at schools. I mean, there are plenty of ways you can find out for yourself whatever you feel drawn to. But hi Vicky, no problem, you can listen to the replay. I'm gonna be finishing very soon. So yeah, I agree, being active and saving others is a huge help. I listed other strategies earlier on, so it will be beneficial for you if you listen to the replay. And but getting active and focusing on others is taking you also away from experiencing and loneliness and diving within yourself. And I think the first few practices I mentioned are much better to help you become comfortable with feeling lonely. Because once you have done it, so many things will change in your life. You will be attracting different people. You will be saying no to people who need to be said no to, and also you'll be saying yes to people who are more suitable for you. You'll be creating different relationships. Plus, you stop being desperate and stop making decisions, romantic decisions, based on how lonely you feel. Because I don't believe if you choose a partner out of loneliness, it will be a right person. It will be a person who will probably show you that you can still feel lonely in a relationship, and this work has to be done on your own. It has nothing to do with your partner or whether you are in a relationship or you are not. And I think I've said everything I wanted. There's one thing which I skipped when I was talking about reframing loneliness. Ask yourself a question also. Is there anything I like about being lonely? And I personally can come up with many things because I love being lonely. But if you start doing these practices and if you start asking yourself these questions, it might be difficult. You might be sitting there and thinking, no, I hate being lonely, I want people around me, I'm a people's person, whatever. But if you sit and wonder, isn't it not nice to sit down with a cup of tea and just enjoy it and have 5 minutes to yourself? And you're being lonely, but it's a pleasant experience. So look for moments in your life, in your day-to-day life, which you do on your own, but they can be pleasurable, like having a tea or watching a movie, but then that's a distraction. But for example, eating breakfast in quiet and without being rushed. So you can reframe it as loneliness can be time alone, me time, Vicky, or solitude, whatever name you prefer and whatever name resonates with you the most. Try using this one instead of loneliness, because as I mentioned before, loneliness can be quite negative. And if you have any questions, please ask me, because I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. Okay, there is one quote which I wanted to share with you, and I absolutely agree with it. Is by Douglas Copeland, and it says, the time you feel lonely is the time you most need to be with yourself. Which is what I've been talking about. When you feel lonely, face it, be with it, sit with it and feel it. Don't run away from it, because it will hit you later on. And once you have embraced it, it will never feel exactly the same, like something which is hurtful, uncomfortable. It will be more pleasant experience. So, I think I'm done, ladies. I've shared everything I wanted to share with you. Please ask questions under the live stream, and I'll be here tomorrow to answer them. And thank you very much for joining me, and I hope some of the strategies will be beneficial to you. Plus, give all of them a go and choose the right ones for yourself. And have a lovely night. Lots of love to you. Bye bye.